I haven't shaved in 3 days. Hey all, it's Jason from GameRaveTV, otherwise known as Danger Boy, and this is GameRaveTV. So for this episode, we're going to play along with something we did before with the top 5 Saturn games you should be playing, and thanks to some help with my friends on VBender, this episode is going to be, basically we took a letter of the alphabet and we chose, I guess I chose 5 games that you should be playing based on the first letter, and I couldn't use Z and Q because there were only 3 games. So, thanks to Vectorman, it's going to be N. So these are the top 5, well not so much top 5, but I should really be thinking about this before I start recording the videos. Let's get to it. Number 1, N2O, otherwise known as nitrous oxide. Arcade shooter, very trippy graphics, kind of like Tempest, but with more flair. Just a high score game, lots of cool things you can do in it. Easy to find, fun to play. Definitely worth it. Number 2, NASCAR Rumble. Basically, take Mario Kart and Blur from the PS3 and 360 and slap the NASCAR logo on it, and you have this just amazing, rambunctious, fun to play, fast moving, you are going to get your ass beat, rolled, flipped, thrown by a tornado racing game. A little bit on the glitchy side with some of the background graphics if things get hot and heavy, but otherwise great game. I cannot recommend it enough. It's probably one of the cheapest, funnest games you'll ever play on the PlayStation. Number 3 is Nectaris. Now, if you had a TurboGrafx years ago, and you're amazing if you do, you played Military Madness. Well, Nectaris is the Japanese name for it, and on the PlayStation and the PlayStation Network for PlayStation 3, that's a lot of PlayStations in one sentence, you can now play Military Madness again. For those who have never played it, it's basically a turn-based strategy game based on a hexagonal board, sort of like if you've played Advance Wars or Fire Emblem, but instead of it being just checkerboard, it's all hexagonal based, so there's more circular movement. What made the game so cool is that it used math to help you try and get a better angle. This was done by having both a high, medium, and low ground area, and then you could, depending on how many units you had to surround the enemy, that was all based in the calculations and so forth. So even if you had a bunch of weak units, if there were enough in a circle around the bad guy, you could actually have a better chance of surviving the fight. This one is a little more uncommon as far as the physical copy goes, so you might pay a little bit more for it. Otherwise, you can just grab the digital copy off PlayStation Network. Number 4, Novastorm. I actually did this game page on the website already, and for those that haven't seen it yet, Novastorm is a full-motion video spaceship shooter, basically just like Sylphid was on the Sega CD. You are a sprite-based ship shooting sprite-based bad guys on a full-motion video background. Now, in the review, I basically said that it wasn't that phenomenal of a game, but it was worth a playthrough every once in a while. The reason I bring it up in this episode is because nostalgia with video games comes in the form of visual as well as gameplay. And with Novastorm, what made the game so great, even by today's standards, is that you can so tell it was done in the 90s. You've got the really bad B-list actors in front of a cheesy CG background. You've got the crazy CG effects that don't match up to anything else in any other level. You've got just ridiculous big robotic animals with crazy spaceships and blah blah blah, and it's just fun to play. I mean, it's about an hour and a half long if you can survive, because it gets really difficult later on, but if you ever get the chance to play it, definitely check it out. It's kind of fun. It's basically the PlayStation Sylphid. And last but not least, the letter N game you should be playing is No One Can Stop Mr. Domino. And in order to understand this game, imagine trying to set up a domino track, but the level is trying to stop you. And basically the way the game works is you go around the level, you are trying to figure out the best place to place your dominoes, and in effect trigger other little chain effects that will create a bigger and bigger point chain. Like, for example, there might be a little square that shows a piece of dice, and as long as your domino hits that dice, it'll trigger this stack of cards that tumble down and knock into the dominoes so you can keep going. It's by Art Dink, and if you've ever played like Aquanaut's Holiday or Tales of the Sun, you really know what to expect with this game. And it really is a gem. I haven't really done any research on eBay for it, so I don't know how crazy out of price it is. But if you get the chance to play it, definitely snag it. It's one of the most unique games you'll ever play. With that said, we're done with the episode. So if you guys have any ideas for what letter you'd like to see next, let me know. Shout out. Twitter, Facebook. I have no idea what I'm saying anymore. Can you tell it's 1 in the morning? We'll see you guys next week.